Ryan's Minute Modcast with his mates, Sadia, RT, and Caro.
Arti, I know you've been working on using agents for just showing how credible this is, right? To show vulnerabilities for an organization. Using it a bit for the dark side, but obviously for a good cause. Can you tell us a little bit more about that particular topic, please?
Absolutely. So agentic AI is big talk, right? Like this, it's going to solve the world hunger according to some factions of our society. And in reality, yes, it may help a lot of businesses, but actually there is a very much a dark side to it. So what is an AI agent? It's basically an AI algorithm that has been trained to take on a certain persona and to do a certain job. And they do that job very effectively because the more data we give it, the better they get to it. Now, if you take that same agent and give it a negative persona and train it to do a negative piece of work, it will go ahead and do this even if it's not negative. So, for example, I trained an agent who is an IT help desk agent, and their job is to install security patch on your device remotely. And for that, they need to be able to control your device, right? So their only goal is to convince you to give them access to your device so they can install a security patch. Seemingly a positive use case, right? But the security patch can be anything. It can be malware, right? So now we are in this environment where you don't even need people to commit fraud. You can just set agents out in the wild to commit fraud en masse on scale, right? So now your attack surface, you have expanded your victim pool. And so just statistically, you're more likely to succeed in these endeavors, and therefore there is a high return on investment. So the fraud economics have taken a different turn, just like the business economics are taking a different turn by the use of AI or agentic AI. So you can now deploy agents who can commit fraud without boundaries at scale 24/7. There is no human trafficking involved either anymore. So it's weird. Like we are living in an environment which is so artificial, so fabricated. And very soon we are now kind of going to see agents committing fraud against each other, right? So good agents. So when you're like, if I have an agent who is deployed to book my travel for me, there is a bad agent who's intercepted them. Now the two agents are fighting against each other, right? One is legitimately trying to book a travel, and the other one is illegitimately transferring those funds into fraudulent account. Now imagine that I was a fraudster myself and I deployed a fraudulent agent and another fraudulent agent tried to intercept it. Like this is crazy. It's a mind-boggling environment that we are entering in. And if you extrapolate that, so if you now put clone voice technology on it, right? So someone is pretending to be the CEO of the organization that I work with, and that agent is telling me you need to do X, Y, Z, and if you don't, your job is at risk, etc. Like it becomes a very threatening agent. It's trying to manipulate me psychologically. It's triggering some of the heightened emotions like fear, etc. And it becomes very successful. And because they are agents, you cannot trace them to people, right? So if a person is committing the fraud or crime, we have some way of trail that will lead us to that individual, hopefully, and therefore the infrastructure that is supporting them. But when it is an algorithm committing the fraud, it becomes very difficult to trace that to a particular organized gang, let alone an individual.
My God, we're losing trillions already to frauds around the world, right? What's it going to be like you said, when now not only is the AI battling against the good AI, but also it's taken your voice, it's taken your. Maybe we go back to the old fashioned days of, yeah, all important meetings are done in person because you don't. What do you trust? What do you think, Kara?
That is a lot of the security advice, actually. So getting people, as Ati was saying, be an idiot on screen and testing things, but also, walk down the corridor, check with people, talk to people, ring them on a different device. It's difficult in high stress situations where you get content like that from somebody, makes it sound like your job is on the line or that they're angry with you or something. It's hard. But that is a lot of the security advice. And it's interesting that we've kind of almost cycled back, because we went from this world where everything was in person, and then now we want to remotely check your biometrics, we want to check your voice, we want to check this is our new security feature, and now that's been hacked, so we're cycling right back. But I think it's a more profound question actually for the future of work, because there are companies that do voice cloning as a service. I think one is called Story. I might be wrong in that, but there are companies that will come into a workplace, and you as a manager can train it on your voice, can train it on your tasks. And if you have to give instructions, including, I think, up to firing people, if you have to give instructions to people, you just send it off to do that. You clone your voice and you send the bot off to write your emails and to put your messages where you're just talking and it's not a conversation, and you're left to do the most important stuff. And that's seen as a brilliant advantage of AI. All this admin we don't need to do. People need to do the most difficult stuff. But it is inviting all of these issues that you're going to capture a clone of your voice and have conversations and give instructions to your staff. I mean, there are many, many social issues with that before we even get started. But on the pure security side, it does open up a lot of those questions. That's kind of where we're coming back to. The flip side of all of this, in terms of deepfakes, is it's monetizable for people who can afford it. So there are digital replica services available. So if you're a Hollywood actor or some other personality, and you can have a digital replica of yourself created. Your body is scanned, your voice is scanned, your movements are mapped. So it's a proper digital replica. And there are some fascinating companies that will use the ISO marking standards to verify the print of that digital replica. So it'll actually verify its authenticity. It's not quite blockchain. It's a slightly different technology, human and digital, that works in the US. And the idea is, or if you're Tom Hanks and you're in America making some incredible film, and you have been invited to do a commercial in Japan, but you can't because it clashes, you could send your digital replica to do that job. And so you can literally be in two places at once. So being monetized as well, that technology starting to emerge where there is an authorized digital replica. Again, the social impact of that and what that will do to the movie industry, who on the one hand complain greatly about AI sucking up their IP and generating things, on the other are desperate to monetize it and use it for their output. I think is really interesting, because if you're an up-and-coming actor, you now don't just have one Tom Hanks to compete with, you've got an infinite number who could be anywhere at any time. So it's interesting, but there are sort of two sides to it. There's the deep fake and then the digital replica side, which is the more authorized version, which I find fascinating.